What do you know about JJ going into this season opener that maybe didn't know beginning of the offseason?
I guess, I've learned a lot about JJ, in the last, say a year. Just a great human being, but, I've really come to love just, his love of the game, and then, his poise in the backfield and in the huddle. I've really enjoyed watching him and being in the huddle with him, just because he gives a calming presence. He's not stumbling when he's calling plays. He's straight to the point. He's precise, and it's not what you always get from a young quarterback. And so I think just the more I've been around him and the more he's been in the huddle, the more I've really just enjoyed being around the game of football with him and just talking ball. And that's one thing that is fun for me, is to pull the quarterback aside or him pull me aside and we just talk ball for a second. And even when we're outside of here, hanging out with each other just to talk ball for a little bit, and that's not something you always get. So it's been a lot of fun to be with that guy.
What does Ben add to your group, either from an X's and O's standpoint or just personality-wise, adding to the group this year?
Yeah, Ben, he's been incredible. Since the day he got in, he's been really all the rookies. Gavin, Bryson, all those guys have come in and really added to the room in their personalities, and then added to the room in their work ethic. They've came in, with a chip on their shoulders, and have been running around in practice and really doing their job, and that's all you can ask from young guys. And then asking questions, and that's been a lot of fun for me. Now going into year 7, passing a little knowledge on, and helping these guys with whatever I can. Early in camp, I remember we would sit at snack at 9 p.m. and we'd go through the install from that day, and just really, because this offense has obviously evolved throughout the years, and so going back to the base, because me and Josh have been here for a while, just going back to the bases of it, and really talking to them and helping them out. And so they've done an awesome job. Ben has been a lot of fun. He's a great blocker. Really puts his hat in there and can move anybody. You saw it in preseason, and can hold his own in the passing game too. So he's going to have a lot of growth throughout the year, and I think all those guys will. So it's a fun room.
It's a different position, but Wes was talking about when Adam came back, just the recall he had for the things a couple of years ago in this offense. When you first got here, it was a crash course for you. How impressive is it to kind of pick it out of the air again and then to put it to use?
Yeah, it's awesome. Just having Adam back in the huddle has been fun. Sometimes you lose a guy and you don't really remember their vibe, and then once he gets back in there, it's like, oh man, I missed you. So it's just been fun watching him come into the building with a cup of coffee and good morning, man. It's been a lot of fun. So to have him back in the building has been incredible. And then for his recall, he came out here the first day and he was spitting a couple things out. And, once we go to the huddle, or once we break the huddle, he hasn't really asked me any questions. And we kind of go to the same side, or, sometimes he goes opposite. But, sometimes I hear like, hey, I haven't really heard that from him. So, he knows he's starting to, recall the offense really well. And, really, like I said, from day one, he hasn't really said anything when we're breaking the huddle. So it's been a lot of fun. That just shows the vet in him and how long he's done it, and just being able to switch your mind from one offense to the other. Every offense is the same. We just call it different. There's so many different ways to evolve and ways to do things, and you just have to learn the verbiage, and it's basically like a language. So yeah.
What is his vibe in the huddle?
He's just a happy, Adam. He's a happy-go-lucky guy. He's a leader. He's a guy that, again, another guy that has a chip on his shoulder. Coming in the league and being an undrafted guy and then being able to do what he's done for so many years, you got to have a chip on your shoulder, and you know that when he gets into the huddle and when he got back on the field, just him running routes and talking to guys and pulling JJ aside and talking to him and just doing all the things that a vet would do and what Adam would do. And I only got to play with him for, I think it was 10 games, but he made an impact on me. And then to be up here and throw around with him in the off season, and to be back around him, and then obviously him getting traded was a blessing for us, just to have him back, in purple and to be on our side again is a lot of fun.
Old guy wrote in the locker room.
I can believe that. Those wide receivers, they'll get you. So yeah, no, you gotta give him some stuff. So yeah, I mean he's what is he? You're 13. You're something like you're 12. Yeah, you're 13. Yeah, so it's a long time to play this game. It's impressive. For real, I don't think that coffee machine got used in 2 years, and when he got back, it was it was overheated for sure. So yeah, it was running again. That was the first time I've seen it run in 2 years. So it was funny.
TJ, you've been in the NFC North for a long time. Is this the best version of Chicago that maybe you've seen in your career?
Yeah. I mean, obviously a good team, young team, and they've got some things that are clicking for them, offensively and defensively. Obviously they have a new head coach and new coordinators, and so I think there's excitement in the city for them, and we're excited to go into Chicago on Monday night and play and put everything out on the field and see where the ball rolls, and we have nothing but respect for them. I've never gone to another team or another field and not respected them as a team, and so I think everybody in this locker room is just excited to get back in the white light or in the white lines under the bright lights and really play this game and just show you have so much time from one game to the next once the season's over, and so all the work is in the barn, and now we get to throw it out there and see where it all may lay. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
TJ, if you could think back to training camp, what stood out about the way Justin carried himself even when he wasn't practicing with you all?
Oh, Jess is the best. Yeah, I mean, he's always smiling. He's always in the locker room, having a good time. He's a leader, obviously, because he has a C on his chest, but not just for that reason. In so many other ways, he's talking to young guys. He's helping them out. He's just the way he carries himself again, and he's I think we're all going over to Jet's house tonight. So it's there's an aspect to him that is so much fun, and there's a reason he's one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver to play this game. And so it's always fun to be out there with him, and even when he's not, he's checking in on everybody. He's coming and talking to me about routes. He's coming and talking to the young receivers about routes, and talking to JJ, and just telling him what he can do, which is pretty much anything. So it's always fun to be around Jets and to have him, even when he's not out on the white lines, he's making an impact.
Like in the film room or in the meeting rooms, trying to understand this offense and kind of where's his mastery right now?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, he's the quarterbacks. I mean, that's truly basically partly their practice is in the meeting room and watching film, diving into the film, and that's everybody's. But for those guys, they gotta do so many things. They gotta look at other things. They gotta look at people coming in. They gotta look at personnel, and so there's just so many different aspects to his job that he's got to do in the meeting room. And I think watching his intent when we're in meetings and watching him have his notebook out and writing all the play, like everything down, everything that coach is saying, and then turning around and talking to me or talking to the wide receivers to kind of get our mentality about it or what we think and how we see it has been fun. He's locked in. Like there's no doubt about it, and so it's just it's just him going out there and playing and having fun. And, you know, there's everybody is excited to go out there and play football again. You know, we've done this for forever, and it's no different for him. You know, he's done it his whole life, so it's just another game, and we're excited to watch him.
Last couple. We good?
Beautiful. Thank you, guys.